Then we have a Big East matchup. All and by the way, these are all like estimate, like somewhere around 9 o'clock, depending on what the hell happens with the games prior. But Xavier taking on Creighton, and Xavier with the comeback for the ages yesterday. I have no idea how they actually came back against DePaul, but they did. And Creighton, well, they never trailed, and they are against Villanova, and now they're a favorite here, laying 3.5. 152.5 here at 9 o'clock. But I can tell you this, the Garden, if Xavier lets Creighton shoot 60% or better like they did DePaul, it's lights out for them there, Drew. Who you leaning with on this one?
I think Creighton's the side here, and it's going towards kind of what you were teeing up there, Joe. I mean, Xavier just what last night, 12-point favorites, only winning by 5. Got to give him some credit coming back. But ever since Zach Fremantle went out, now he's out for the year. I haven't really been looking to bet on Xavier. They've been about what 500 against the spread. But up against Creighton here, I think that's the story, Joe. And if Creighton's able to shoot anywhere near what DePaul was, I think they're the side. And when you add in the fact they've scored 87 points, 84 points, and 99 points their last 3 games out. They're seeing it well. They're heating it up offensively. They've won 3 straight, both straight up and against the spread. Don't love laying the points here, but hey, as we're getting a little bit closer towards opening day, I think the Blue Jays are the side here, Joe.
It kind of hard. I mean, listen, they as good as DePaul shot it, man. Creighton was lights out last night there, Merrill. It's like Villanova never really had a shot to try to get back into this thing. They were just they were too good. They shoot like that again. This is an intriguing matchup. Maybe one that sees it fly over the total, even though they're not that fast. What do you think we're going to get here tonight?
Well, I always talk about how I like the slower half-court teams come tournament time in the one-and-done scenarios. And you could say it applies also to the conference tournaments. But with March Madness, with the NCAAs, everyone's off for at least a day, if not 5 days in between games. That's not the case here with these games. Both teams were rested last night. You mentioned Xavier having to play from behind. Terrible defense. If you told me before the game DePaul was going to shoot 60% from the field, 50% from three, probably would have thought they won the game outright. But Xavier found a way to win. They've played the 31st fastest tempo in the country this year, and I bring that up because that's not necessarily a good thing when playing back-to-back nights. And the one big edge that Creighton has in this game is defensively. 14th most efficient defense. Xavier is just the 92nd defense, even though these teams are both top 16 overall ranked in the KenPom. So I think defense is the difference. Fatigue could be an issue as well for Xavier, and Creighton minus 3.5 is the play. We'll look at when they played earlier this season. They played twice in January. Xavier won by 3 at home. They were down by 1 at the half. And then Creighton, though, won the rematch by 17 at home, was up by 14 at the half. I think that's more indicative of probably how this game plays out the third time tonight.
Which defense is going to get some stops? Ultimately, both of these offenses are capable of putting up some points here. What do you think this is going to be? Is this a track meet, do you think here, Trig, or do you think this is going to be final possession kind of game?
I mean, if Xavier has a death wish, they make it a track meet. That would be horrible for them. They played 6 guys last night, and it was an 89-84 game. Now they have to turn around. Xavier's only chance here, Joe, in my opinion, is to slow this game down. Because if they try to, it feels like, this is for lack of a better term, Joe, feels like Creighton's kind of in FU mode right now. Like, this is a team, and I lean with the guys here. I think Creighton is the right side. Didn't necessarily want to lay that number, but the more I look at it, like, this is a team that really was widely sort of the trend, like, considered the team in this conference coming into this year. If you remember, actually, it was Creighton and Villanova that people liked, and UConn and Xavier and those teams were kind of like the cut below. And of course, UConn emerges as a, now they're, kind of coming back into the mix, but Creighton ends up finishing third. I feel like Creighton kind of wants to win this tournament. I just have this feeling that they want to make a statement and go out and win this Big East tournament. Whereas Xavier, I just, Sean Miller's their coach. He's not exactly like, I don't feel like he needs to exactly prove anything, right? Like, he's probably measured by success in the NCAA tournament more than he probably cares about a Big East tournament. We saw Xavier kind of flirting with getting bounced last night. They come back and win. But man, I just like the short bench concerns me here. Drew
Hmm.
mentioned Fremantle out. Like Nunji can play with Kalkbrenner and give him some trouble, but the fatigue is the thing that really concerns me here. They keep coming back to the fact that Xavier played 6 guys last night, and now they have to play another game just to potentially play another game. Like you have to wonder if like what the motivation is there and how badly they want it in comparison to Creighton, who, and again, we're just playing like locker room psychologists here. It's very difficult, and that's what makes this day extremely challenging, right? Like these conference tournaments, for whatever, like some teams really care. Some teams are just going through the motions. You got teams that are already in the NCAA tournament. So you kind of have to like figure out where the motivation is. But just a hunch here, I feel like Creighton really wants this. I feel like because they fell short in the regular season in the Big East from winning a Big East regular season title, actually finished below Xavier. It went Marquette, Xavier, Creighton in the standings. I feel like Creighton just they're going to have a little bit more of the chip on their shoulder, and I think we started to see that last night a little bit, and I think it carries over here. So I lean with these guys. I think Creighton's the right side as well.
All 5 starters, double digit scoring last night for Creighton. So pretty balanced attack and looking for that first Big East title since joining. So it should be a good one here tonight at the Garden.